On this episode of Lapeef Let's Talk, one of Jordan Peterson coming on campus talking about what he talked about because it was completely opposite from that whole mindset. But you start to see it a little bit more when it comes to older women, because sometimes you be looking like, how she get a man, and women be looking at that, and well, it's because she didn't have the same requirements that you had, which your requirements are going to probably come down anyway. So you might as well face the facts anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, JR, wait, real quick before you segue to the next question. I got to ask Kay in particular, and the ladies on the panel, a question. Should men not have a preference or a standard for if men? So if we go with women control access to sex, if we go with that premise, and men control access to relationships and marriage, should men not have a preference or standard for who they choose to date, wife, commit to a relationship, or enter into a marriage with?
That's my point, Q, is that they still think that they hot little mamas and they got it. The reality is that they don't know that the wall was already there. They just still trying to climb over it with no rope. Real talk. Like, they don't know yet, but reality is going to set in soon, and it's not going to be nice for them. They just don't know it.
I agree with that. I think the realization of it, right, it's that wall, it's that epiphany, it's that understanding, like, oh, this ain't good. And I've been living this way for, I don't know, 8-10 years, right? That was me. I was like, well, I've been doing this for 8 to 10 years, and my life is literally looks great on paper, but it's a disaster inside. And all I'm doing is creating my own destruction. And I want to also make another point. And I also want to make another point too. It's like, when you have like an alcoholic parent or whatever, right? You, as a child, you have two ways you're going to go. Either you're going to be completely sober, or you're going to fall into that addiction. And that's kind of how I look at it, in a way, right? Because maybe trauma is not the right word or whatever, but you see that behavior, you're like, oh, I'm going to either run towards that, or I'm going to completely do the opposite. And yeah.
You know what's the interesting thing about it though, Rilla and Rebecca, is that one of the reasons why women don't know they hit the wall is because dudes are still hitting it. They think that just because guys give them attention and that they have sex with them, that they still got it, and men still check for me, and I'm still getting dates and all of this. And I just went on a date the other day. But it's a difference between men looking at you as an object to use for the moment and men looking to marry you. And it's a completely different conversation. So it's kind of like they getting tricked. It's delusional for them because they think that, they still got it, because guys will do anything. Guys will put their thing in anything that they can find. Anything. Literally. Have you seen that woman walking to the grocery store with all them little munchkins and she looking like a bag of bricks? They will literally do anything.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I've seen some guys. Have you ever been in a conversation with your guys? Listen, I'm just going, let me just throw this out there.
It's
have
the
you ever
bag
been
of bricks.
Seriously, have you ever been in a conversation with your guys, Rilla? You don't, not you participating, but have you ever seen a group of guys talking and they say,
go ahead,
and they talk about, I'm absolving you from the conversation, Rilla, and they talking about, have they ever slayed a dragon? Have you ever been in the room with a bunch of guys and they talking about how they've slayed a dragon before?
Yeah, facts.
Guys will do anything. That does not mean that you're the
man. Y'all need to get them together. What's going on?
I do. Okay, I'm an equal accountability partner. Yeah, I'm just saying the only thing that I'm saying is that just because a dude will mess with you does not necessarily mean he'll marry you. That's all I'm saying.
Right. I agree. I mean, it's the same thing that I say in terms of what we commit to versus what we play with. And I think that does get. I agree with you. I think that does get lost on men.
Hell yeah, because a lot of these motherfuckers ain't married.
Don't say mother effers.
I be seeing bricks getting married. Anton, I be seeing bricks get married.
Have you? Do you really?
I do. I see a brick get married the other day.
SpongeBob built man.
A big one too. I was like, damn.
Do y'all really seriously?
Yes.
Based on
but
what?
But you know what the difference is? I'm gonna tell you why they got married, Q, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because your brick, the brick that you seen get married might be different than the brick I seen, right? But let me tell you why. It's because women that still have, you know, some oomph about her, she might be cute, she might still got a body or whatever like that, right? No, she might not have the right attitude. No. I'm talking about women that's dope, like women that still look decent, whatever, but they haven't found the man that they want. Is because they still have higher standards, right? They're not willing to settle, but that brick is willing to settle. That brick is like, yo,
she's like, no.
See, y'all not willing to settle. You don't want SpongeBob. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. And that brick was like, give me that man that's shaped like this. So I want that man that's shaped just like this. Matter of fact, I want the man that's shaped like this. Both of them together. I want the man that's shaped just like this. You not willing to settle for that man.
Don't body shame that man. Anton, are you saying that women who are seen as less desirable get married quicker?
Yes.
I think so.
You said you think
sometimes I think that older women that may be seen as less desirable get married quicker. Yes.
What about younger ones?
Younger ones too.
I don't know, because I don't think that it's a lot of young women. I don't think that it's a lot of young women today that are looking to get married early. That's the problem.
Just because of the shift in
society. I don't think that younger women even have the mindset to be married, because they're kind of indoctrinated with this university mumbo jumbo, and then they got, you know what I mean? It's a lot of feminist movement and all of this. No, seriously, universities is probably the place where they learn the most when it comes to how it is that they need to look at men, you know, and what it is, how they start to treat men. If you start to get into a woman that's becoming more of a feminist, you know, it's a lot of talking points that come from universities, and they even ban speakers that they don't like from the other side that speak from, like the Jordan Petersons, right? They didn't want a Jordan Peterson coming on campus talking about what he talked about, because it was completely opposite from that whole mindset. But you start to see it a little bit more when it comes to older women, because sometimes you be looking like, how she get a man, you know, and women be looking at that, and well, it's because she didn't have the same requirements that you had, which your requirements are going to probably come down anyway. So you might as well face the facts anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, JR, wait, real quick before you segue to the next question. I got to ask Kay in particular, and the ladies on the panel, a question. Should men not have a preference or a standard for who, if men, so if we go with women control access to sex, if we go with that premise, and men control access to relationships and marriage, should men not have a preference or standard for who they choose to date, wife, commit to a relationship, or enter into a marriage with?